I said everybody there would get those, but, so
And
when is it? I didn't get mine.
What did you need?
Well,
Pattern
we
box?
used both of those, so that's why they were like, if you do.
I think at that point we were.
No, we have plenty.
I think at that point we were still trying to figure out.
Who's in, who's not.
Right, and and if the budget would take care of principals and all that, and we found that it would.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, teachers are on a list and they get checked off for what materials they.
We know who
Yes.
has received what.
Oh,
And so, we don't have a principal's list yet.
yeah, okay.
And so so right now it's just to let us know anything
okay.
that we've used, that you were there for, that you want, and we'll make it happen.
Oh, okay.
So I will
Now,
make
what I think you do need though, is because in your adoption, you have a kit, in your math
Yes.
kit, you have manipulatives. I think that, I know I wanted to know, what do you have in there, and do you have enough for all of the children? So is it just a teacher demo set, or is this enough for every kid to have their own set of these, or at least every 2 kids have
The
their own
majority
set?
of it, because we did do an inventory with our math adoption, and then I had money that I had saved for math manipulatives. So Jennifer compiled, she and I worked together. But the majority of it was like for small group. The majority of it was there's enough for a group of 4 or 5 for every,
It's not enough,
so.
not enough. I would say a minimum of 1 for 2 students.
You've got the thing over here that tells you how much, and that's what I use. Like when, and I gave it
And
to
the teas.
Patricia, so that she would know what to buy per student based on the Common Core math standards.
Oh.
It's on here,
Common Core,
not Common,
math teams.
no, actually.
Are you looking for the?
And we put together the science manipulatives.
Just a second.
There's also, it's under, on page, it's under math, from manipulatives to concepts.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's recommended by supporting leaders in mathematics. a source
Yeah,
of-
NCT and the National
Yeah.
Science Standard, yeah.
So what I did is when I formed the math lab, I just said, okay, it tells you like how many you need per,
Oh,
yeah,
for
so
each
that's what I
class.
found.
Then this is the one I said, I'm not sure with the new math teaks,
Yeah.
how consistent
Yeah.
it is.
It probably
So
needs to be
this will be
updated.
something that we'll kind of work on with the teachers too, because it is a useful list. And even at middle school, one of the very best math teachers I've ever seen, we went in and she was doing a review. And we really don't care what they're doing. Well, probably not necessarily a test, but for the most part, we don't care what they're doing. So she was doing this review and she had stations. This was the 8th grade. And she said just at the last minute, she threw out some manipulatives, and she said she was surprised at how many of her 8th grade, this is the Nimitz STEM Academy, okay? How many of her 8th grade students still wanted to use manipulatives? It is not baby stuff, it's foundational.
How many of us
Well-
as adults still use this when we're working?
The Saturday I went to, we had to compare fractions, and we had to compare them using pattern blocks. And I just wanted to go back to the old rules that you learn to do this and that and this and that to know whether then she kept saying you cannot do that.
That's right.
Show me, and I'm like, I don't know how to make it look.
Really
It was frustrating. It was very frustrating, but it was eye-opening because I'm like, gosh, I was never taught to manipulate and make it look that way. I was just taught, here's the trick, do it.
Did you have the restaurant question? The seating?
But you know what, in fact, I think Mark is the one who said this, that it made him realize what you have to do, how you have to struggle to really understand something, and how much time it takes. And that if we don't give students the time and encouragement and requirement and all those other things to develop that critical thinking, they're not going to. It's a human nature. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do what's harder.
That's right.
So when you're out in the classrooms, when we're out in the classrooms, if you look at our observation form, a question says, is it integrated? That's what we're looking for. It's very simple. It's not that hard to integrate it, just to make those links and to make students understand that there's a connection between math and science, because their idea is kind of like Las Vegas. What goes on in the math classroom stays in the math classroom, and vice versa. They don't see math as being useful in their everyday life. And I think part of it has to do with those artificial, real-life examples of two trains, you know, whatever it is with those problem
50
courses.
miles an hour,
Uh-huh.
20 miles an hour.
Right, you know,
Where
that
are
it's
they
just, it's, you know, that it's not their real world.
Many kids will never get on a train.
Yeah. Okay, so Sarah, where are we now here? Oh, no, let's go through some of the others. So,
Yeah.
the current research, so we've given to you, the foldables, and we give the teachers the foldables. So you have the K-5, you have the 6-8. We have not given to you the 9-12, but we have those. We like for the middle school ones to have the 9-12 so they can see what those students need, you know, in the, what they have to know, and so that middle school teachers will understand what they have to build an understanding for that foundation.
You order these through Region 4, right?
We do. They used to come in packages of 20, but I think they've gone up now, they're in packages of 10. Now, the problem, Sarah, you want to go through this, since we're already on the TEKS, about that introduction there for the grade 5 that you put in there? Because the introduction is actually part of the TEKS.
And I feel like it often gets overlooked.
Yeah,
I mean, especially if you're using these wonderful foldables,
it's not in the
it's not in the
foldables.
foldables.
That one
And
page
so-
that says 18/21 then?
Yep. So this is just a sample one that I printed. I just printed off 5th grade science. And just one of the things that I really thought was important about it is it really talks a lot about best practices and what we are doing in here. It talks about, you know, looking for patterns. It talks about using the world around them, you know, enhanced context essentially. It talks about investigations and
You were gonna look
essentially
at 3.
inquiry.
You were gonna look at number 3 particularly too, on the first page.
Thank you. I was looking for it on the second page. And what's really important is it talks about how much time should be spent on classroom and outdoor investigations. What percentage of
Yeah, you
time?
brought that to my attention.
And the NSTA actually recommends even higher percentages of time being spent on investigations, hands-on.
K-5, 80%.
I was gonna say, okay, because this says 50%,
Right.
but below 5th grade, it's more than that.
Yeah. Well, it's only recommended though. In
But in the
6 through
TEKS
12, it's required of 40%.
I think the TEKS for K1 and 2, maybe even 3 are 80%.
Yeah, they are, but NSTA is K-5 is 80%,
Okay.
whereas this only says 50%.
Because you need time to practice the test, that's
Right. And summer school being packets of worksheets.
Yeah.
Not ours.
Good. Sarah, what else did you want to?
I just like that it kind of gives a real general overview of what science should kind of look like in the classroom without going into the specifics of the TEKS. Well, I'm sorry, this is part of the TEKS. The numbered TEKS. That was all for me, just really the time. Oh, and then one thing that I really like also about the foldable TEKS is it's broken up into science processes and skills or scientific investigation and reasoning all on one side, and then the actual concepts is on the other side. I just like the way they organized that.
is nice.
And that's what we kind of kept coming back to when students in the class would have a question about whether, again, there's no law, but if it would be better taught using inquiry or direct instruction, and we'd basically ask them, well, what side of the foldable are you looking at? And so if it's, investigation and reasoning, which they call it processes and skills and other foldables, I think, then that's going to be direct teach generally, whereas the actual concepts, the content, it is going to be taught better generally through inquiry.
Do you remember about how much a packet of these cost offhand?
Tara knows exactly.
I was about to say, I know Tara's ordered them recently.
Yeah. See what I can find out here.
Oh, are you texting? Okay, I was gonna
I can look up on the register.
Oh, that's.
I'm curious now to see the time. I'll pull up the teaks and the
For
time.
first?
Yeah, for K1, 2.
It's 80%.
It's 80%.
Mm-hmm.
So doing lots of science. Why don't we take a quick break? I want to come back to safety and facilities with you.
Do you want me to throw these chips away, the few I didn't eat, Suzanne?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
Sarah, you want to turn off the camera?
Sorry. Let's dance.